Hey, this is your classmate, Rod Foster. We're here to talk about forgiveness, and you can start by forgiving any mistake I make in this presentation. Okay, so the dictionary defines forgiveness as to stop feeling anger towards someone who has done something wrong to you, which I think is the way we normally deal with forgiveness, which is, I think, is too simplistic because it's so multi-layered. It has to do with someone who we're in a relationship with has done something offensive to us, and us being able to forgive that person, release our bitterness, as well as release them from their guilt. But the nature of the relationship has everything to do with that. Say, for instance, you have a married couple, they have a fight, a little spat, and they make up the next day. I love you, I forgive you. The nature of that relationship is that number one, they can actually forgive each other, and they can release each other from the guilt, which is what Wolf goes on discussing in the book, because it's healthy and it's a close relationship, everything works. But say there's another kind of forgiveness that's be a little bit more complicated. Say with my parents. My parents were married like 15 or 20 years. My father decided to fool around with some other women. So my mother forgave him, and then she forgave him, and then he kept doing it, and she forgave him again. And this whole issue of recidivism, became an issue. So even though we both were able to forgive him and to release him from the guilt, there was this bitterness from from what he had done to us, how it damaged us. My mother was probably something different than it was to me, but it was, as a son, it's like my father. Why would he do that to me? What did I do? It gets complicated. So then you move 15, 20 years later. My first marriage ends in divorce, not because of any other women. We were just incompatible, and I had to ask my son for forgiveness, and he did give me the forgiveness. Um, we were able to, he was able to forgive me and also release me from the guilt. But the other issue was that as now this time I was a father instead of the son, and as I looked for the forgiveness, I also understood as a father and as a son that this is the result of me being a flawed person. The same way the results of the first divorce as a child had nothing to do with me, nothing really to do with my mother. It had to do with the fact that my father was flawed. That changed my understanding of the forgiveness, and that also changed my the process of the bitterness that I was feeling. But bitterness is problematic. Then the other issue is when there's an issue of forgiveness, there's the issue of revenge. Someone has offended us, and the way we respond is in revenge, and that's very common. You hurt me, I'm going to hurt you. So right now, I want to play a clip from Boys in the Hood. It's got profanity in it and it's got violence. And if that's offensive, please skip it and click on the last link when I wrap things up. But I think it's very applicable to the discussion of revenge, and also, when we're going to minister in profanity and violence. That's, if we're going to do anything of substance, we are going to minister in that. So anyway, if it is offensive to you, please skip it, and I'll talk to you on the other side.